Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another Code Vein 2 video. So I had a few viewers ask if I could do a Runeblade guide next. And since I ranked them kind of low on my ranking weapons video, I wanted to give them a redemption arc. Now I never thought they were bad, but they attract a certain playstyle that really wasn't my own. But after playing around with different spells, blood codes, and boosters, I have something truly great here. So if you like the ranged spellcaster builds or just Runeblades for their unique moveset, then this video is for you. When it comes to blood codes, we want one with high mind and willpower, since we're essentially a mage build. These two stats increase our maximum ichor and how much damage our Forma spells can do. So for the early game, we can just use Lose blood code. You get it right at the beginning of the game, and it's actually pretty good for the early portion. Even though we aren't in this blood code for the traits, they actually aren't bad. Guard stamina cost down and attack power boost after a drain attack are totally fine early game bonuses. But once we get out of the tutorial island, we want to go get Holly's blood code ASAP. And keep in mind, you could do any of the three heroes' quest lines in any order. Jose's is probably the easier one, but if you're feeling brave and want to get this build going early, do the Undead Forest first and get Holly's blood code earlier. Holly's blood code has 39 willpower, like that's an insane amount for a magic build. It says 41 here because I have her as a partner. And the 21 mind is nice and high as well. We also do get HP restored every time we kill an enemy, which is nice when exploring, especially when you're new to this game. But we also get increased balance during Forma charge spells. And lastly, we can spend HP when our ichor runs out. And that one's just the huge one. You can cast a fair number of spells at full HP if and when that comes up. When it comes to the weapons, we want ones with high mind or willpower scaling. One of the first Runeblades you can get early are the Blood Runeblades. And if you spec these into the Blood Affinity, they get double S scaling in mind and willpower, making them perfect for this build. I know a lot of people have been gravitating towards gluttonized Runeblades, honestly myself included, but this other set just fits the build more. And when you get to the mid-game point, there's a better set you can farm once you feel ready. And that western part of the map is the Bureau's Castle. Follow this path and you'll encounter two enemies that have a chance to drop the Stealth Blades. I was able to kill these guys in just a few seconds with my main build. If it feels like it's taking a bit too long to farm, just come back a little bit later. Now it did take me like 30 kills to actually get these to drop, so good luck. But the reward is worth the farm. Even though these only scale with willpower, since this is our main stat, it ends up being way higher damage. With Fire, Frost, or Lightning Affinity, it goes all the way to S+ scaling. I went Fire Affinity since we'll be using fire-based spells, just keeping it on theme. And of course that leads us into our next section, which weapon forma should you use? You want at max 2 weapon formas specific to the Runeblades, and 2 ranged spells so you can keep casting while the blades are out. I've seen some builds where you just switch to a bayonet and second weapon slot, but not for me. If you want to do that though, the Grenade Launcher Bayonet has burdens that won't push us over the cap. We're already at 31 willpower as it is. If you tried using one of the mind scaling bayonets, we'd be overburdened and lose a lot of our bonuses. So the first skill we have is the Whirling Shredder. This forma sends out Runeblades towards a specific target and shreds them. While these are out, we can start casting spells or making some distance to heal or use an item. The second spell is the Orbital Blade. This one sends out blades from our character's starting position and grows outwards. The spell is better for multiple enemies or if you're being surrounded. It's good to have a spell for each scenario. The last 2 spells should be our magic slots. The first one I highly recommend is the Blaze Shot. For just 1 ichor, we can spam fireballs. And honestly, the damage isn't too bad for a 1-cost spell. They're quick, do decent damage, and gives you something to do to keep the DPS up when the Bloodblades are out doing their own thing. But we're also going to want an expensive 5 or 6 mana cost spell. And I like these 2 options. Falling Sun creates an AoE of fire that deals damage over time, but it also has decent stagger potential. But if you don't like that option, this other fire option may work better for you. The Firewall spell. Well, it makes a wall of fire. Same pros as the other one, a lingering area of denial spell that does good stagger build-up. Dealer's choice here. But you can't have a complete build without your boosters. You'll get 4 slots at the start of the game and 6 once you finish some of the extra quest lines. So here's the 6 you should end up with, either from crafting with Jedwigga or rewards from completing blood code proficiencies. The first one increases our Runeblade damage while we aren't overburdened, so it's important to keep that in mind for any build. I like the +5 mind booster for both early and late game, so craft this one as soon as you can. There's also a +2 version that's acquired early too, so use both of these in the beginning. We also have this nice one that gains ichor when we overheal, so we can use our healing to also increase our ichor generation, keeping us casting spells for far longer without the use of a jail. But since we'll still be, using our jail, I chose the Ichor Absorber to give us more ichor back. We do have 37 max mana after all, and that's thanks to this next booster that just gives us extra ichor, the Ichor Maximizer, essential for any mage build. And lastly, we have the Maximizer Duo. We get even more ichor at the cost of slower stamina generation. Sounds like a good trade-off to me. When it comes to partners, we have 2 options. Valentin is good in early game as we unlock him quite early on. It gives us the ability to spend HP to cast spells before we have the blood code that lets us do that ourselves. Not to mention a nice willpower +2 and stamina cost reduction when dodging, but once we get Holly as an ally, it's over. She helps our Forma cast speed, which is a hard effect to find elsewhere. Not to mention +2 willpower, even more max ichor for spell casting, and it also increases the damage of our magic Forma attacks. Like, holy, this is the perfect ally for a mage build. Just another reason to go do Holly's questline first. When it comes to the offensive bequeathed Forma, we have two good options. Since we're ranged anyways, the bow fits nicely here. With an A scaling and willpower, it fits well. It also has an X in dex, and we do have 24 extra dex with this build, so hey, a double reason to use it. The Manus Firing Laser Gauntlet technically scales better, but it's so slow I don't know if you can effectively use this in a boss fight. It is cool looking though. Since we're ranged, we're not really going to be parrying in this build, so I just use the regular Bleeding Shield as my defensive item. The Burnins can handle the regular version, so we don't have to switch to the light one. And no need to transform it, that just makes you better against one specific damage type. When it comes to jails, I usually say use what you want, but that just isn't the case here. Since our burdens are so high as it is, we can only use two options in this build, either the bats or the ivy. The other ones overburden us, so they're all off the table. And since we're ranged anyways, I went with the bats. They're not bad, it's just a little step back after casting so you can avoid incoming damage. And as you can see here, with this current setup, no boosters or burdens are hurting the build. Everything is active, otherwise it would just tell me here. If you want to use food buffs, I've got two good options. Ramen increases our max ichor and bleed factor. More mana for spells and higher bleed to get some jail use is exactly our game plan that we're trying to pull off. Or you can use the fried rice for more defense vitality if you're struggling on a boss and just want to stay alive longer. Alright, that should just about do it for the Spellblade Rune build. This build was kind of fun to put together since it's so different from the other two builds I've done so far. You know, one dex build, one strength build, now we got a spellcaster build. And honestly, if you're looking for something new, this might be the next best build for you. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.